Welcome back to this course, Logic, Circuit, and Design. In the previous lesson, we discussed about the operations on binary numbers and how to add binary numbers. In this video, we will talk about how to subtract binary numbers. If you want to follow along this course, you can save the playlist by clicking the link in the description box below. Please do hit the like and subscribe button, as that will inspire me to create more videos like this. Now, let's get started. Let's learn the basics first. Binary numbers have two-digit representation, zeros and ones. If we subtract 0 and 0, we will get 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Now, if in the case of 0 minus 1, since we cannot subtract it directly, we need to borrow from our neighbor. As we borrow from our neighbor, 1 becomes 0 and the borrower receives 2 ones, or we could simply write it down as 2 for easier reading. Now we can subtract. 2 minus 1 is 1. Bring down 0, or we could just disregard 0. So our final answer would be 1. Now let's try solving more examples. Let's try to subtract the first example. 1 minus 0 is 1. 1 minus 1, 0. 1 minus 0, 1. 0 minus 0 is 0. Or we could just simply disregard it, and our final answer would be 1, 0, 1. Now let's try the second example. 1 minus 0 is 1. 0 minus 1. Since we cannot directly subtract this, we need to borrow from our neighbor. 1 becomes 0, 0 becomes 2. Now we need to borrow from our neighbor. 2 becomes 1, this 0 receives 2. This 1 needs to borrow from here, this becomes 1, this receives 2. The same pattern, 0 borrows from here, the same pattern, 0 borrows from here, 2 becomes 1, 0 receives 2. Now we can subtract it. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. Now great! Let's try the last example. 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 minus 0, so we could just bring it down, 0. How about this one? 1 minus 1, it's 0. 0 minus 1, since we cannot subtract it directly, we need to borrow from our neighbor. 1 becomes 0, 0 receives 2. This one borrows from this becomes 1, and this one receives 2. Now we can subtract it. 2 minus 1, we have 1 left. 1 minus 1, 0. 0 minus 1, since we cannot subtract it directly, again, we need to borrow from our neighbor. This one becomes 0, this one receives 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. 0 minus 0 minus 0, it's 0. Or we could just disregard it. So our final answer would be 1, 0, 1, 0. Now, great! If you have questions, feel free to write it down in the comments below. Up next is a continuation of this series, Logic, Circuits, and Design. Lesson number 5, Representation of Signed Numbers.